We wait. There is our draft. Let's get it going. Alterac Pass, game number 1 of series number 2, Oxygen Esports versus Chili Mountain. I said before, there are a couple usual suspects that we can normally expect to see in an Alterac Pass draft. A Nubarak, always high priority. Dahaka, Blaze, Hogger. I would be amazed if we didn't see at minimum 2 out of 3 of those showing up in the form of picks or bans. And of course, thinking about Yasu, thinking about Hasu, both on the same team. You're thinking about Lucio and Sergeant Hammer. Hasu, massive hero pool, so of course there's no way to really know what he's going for here, but the options are endless.
I will say, Hogger and technically Hanzo got kind of a shadow nerf on this map recently with that tiny patch they did. The walls around the top right and bottom left objectives are very jagged now. to stop Hogger from breaking the objective because he was able to with Loot Horde.
I see, okay. Making the scatter angles, maybe the bounce angles a little bit more inconsistent. Yeah. I see.
A little more awkward, yep.
Junkrat, of course, is on that list. Lava, one of the continuing premier heroes of Alterac Pass, with your ability to defend your objective as well as get that wave clear and that ever so critical boss control. Speaking of boss control, we see a Falstad banned out, no Mighty Gusts on the point for the side of Oxygen Esports. Oxygen, of course, we see this Hammer first banned away from them. We saw in their series last week, Hasuab's just setting up a tent in the bottom lane as Sergeant Hammer, refusing to ever rotate. It may have actually been Nick, if I remember correctly, but one of the two just parking bot lane, sieging away at that gate, refusing to go with objective all the way on the other side of the map. The split push pressure was just too much. Chili Mountain has decided they want no part in it. Dayquaza first picking the 100% expected Hogger. Hey, look, I just want to point out, I'm batting 1,000 right now, okay? And hold on, wait, I didn't see this coming. As we see Dino on the Tracer. Dino, of course, I played Tracer against him in my European climb the other day. I'm not going to lie, chat, I B-stepped him a little bit, but we're all good. And now Dino here clearly trying to show that he is the superior Tracer, pulling it out in this tourney environment right here for MC alongside Masquerade's Tyrael.
I will say, so far they're a little light on the CC on the right-hand team here, but they might make up for it with the support. And Tyrael has that. There's 2 bosses, and Tyrael has that gnarly boss control. So they might just go deep.
There are certainly options right there. Hogger loves to just pummel everybody in the boss pit, reducing all their spell power, getting that damage reduction. Tyrael loves to holy ground into the pit, prevent anybody from capturing it, and I feel a little bit torn here. Cav is a great bud of mine. We have good long history going back several years here as he coaches this Oxygen Esports team on your left side, but part of me has to root for the Tracer player. Part of me wants to see them succeed and thrive and flourish in the modern day of Heroes of the Storm. Copenhagen picking up that Urel, and of course any map where push is a major threat, where boss is a major threat, you're going to see some Sylvanas. Hasuab's picking up the silver right here, and this is, I'm noting a little bit of a pattern here from Oxygen, some very strong push potential coming out from the members of Oxygen. If they can get a lead in these objectives and in these bosses, these structures are going to go down quickly on the side of Chili Mountain. There's a Phoenix last pick from Nick for Oxygen.
Ooh, I like the Phoenix pick. Yeah, they've got the Nubarak, they've got the Sylvanas. That's the classic, we're gonna dump on all your structures comp. However, we do have kind of an interesting comp on with Maev, Rhaegar, Tyrael, and Tracer. We might get some Sancts, some Bloodlust. I don't know if we'll get Bloodlust, but it would actually work here.
I just always enjoy seeing Bloodlust. I love giving it the old whenever we see it, just gotta imitate the screen. the screen as much as you see, but on your screen, chat, you will note here that coming in at rank number 1 and rank number 2 right after them, we do have Chili Mountain and Oxygen Esports coming in at 18 points and 16 points respectively. This series, whoever wins this, if they take it 2-0 and sweep the series, will be the number 1 team going into next week. If this is, of course, a 1-1, then as usual, their positions will be maintained. Oxygen looking to leapfrog over Chili Mountain in the positioning of the standings right here, right now, as Game 1, our lobby has opened up. On our left side, for Oxygen Esports, we have Hasuabs playing the Sylvanas on a very shiny pig? I'm not even sure I'm familiar with that one. Hans, a.k.a. It's got a lack of luster to it, but Hans is going to be playing that Phoenix that is, of course, Nick. We have Bad Benny on a Nubarak. Yasu allowed to play Lucio. He is, of course, a danger on that character. And 19CM, aka Copenhagen, on the Urel. Over on the side of Chili Mountain, on the right side of our screen, who do we have FullOnGritz?
We've got Dino on Tracer. We got Banana on Rhaegar. We got Ultralisk on Maev and Masquerade on Tyrael. And last of all, we've got Dequaza on Hager. All names a lot of people should be familiar with.
If you've been watching competitive Heroes of the Storm, especially European competitive Heroes of the Storm, these names have all been around for a very long time. Multiple members of Oxygen dating back all the way to the HGC days, Heroes Global Championship in the past, as we see Dino here holding down this solo lane versus Copenhagen, trying to get any damage that he can in this matchup. But of course, Urel is very tanky. Yasu, in the meantime, trading a couple blows with Masquerade and Ultralisk, as Oxygen putting most of their pressure on the top side of the map here. But of course, everybody knows it's time for our chores! As we see Alterac Pass, this is going to be the mainstay of any Alterac Pass series, is this null camp taken repeatedly on cooldown. Oxygen a little bit late to theirs, not only arriving to their camp later than we have on Chili Mountain, but Chili Mountain also, of course, has a Hogger on it, as Dequaza now finishing off the siege camp a little bit ahead of multiple members of Oxygen Esports, demonstrating that this character needs to be removed from the game, if you ask me. Regardless, got a little bit of ahead of myself right there. Hogger gets me fired up, as we now see both teams getting ready to form up in mid lane and protect their null camp.
Yeah, it's classic Alterac. You're going to be seeing that null camp get taken off cooldown. A lot of people really prescribe to the... If we take that off cooldown faster than our opponent, we'll win mid lane.
And mid lane is certainly a critical lane on Alterac Pass. You have the ability to push out those keeps right away. And of course, if you can ever get the null armor reduction onto the core on a map like Alterac Pass, which is the only map where the core actually gets armor, that is crucial for being able to set yourself up for early game victories and even late game victories. All 3 maps on Alterac Pass are significant end threats, with boss camps in the side lanes as well as the armor shredding null camp in that mid lane right there. Some damage being exchanged in mid from Oxygen and Chili Mountain. Expect to see just continuing scuffles back and forth here until that null camp comes right back up in just a little while.
Yeah, even just taking that mid fort creates a lot of... Ooh, Yasu getting bombed there. It's the classic Lucio Tracer fight each other in that top matchup.
As we see Accelerando off the wall, an interesting combination from Lucio right there. A lot of times I'm particularly a fan of smooth moves when I'm going off the wall, but regardless, Lucio with that off the wall will be able to sort of pressure out the Tracer a little bit and not just get freely bullied by some of that damage output. And if there's anybody I trust to give us a show and a masterclass of Lucio, it is of course Yasu. Multiple members of Chili Mountain now with a significant advantage in the timing of their first null camp as Oxygen finishes theirs. Already Chili Mountain getting pressure onto objective number 1.
Yeah, like I was saying, even just taking the mid fort makes protecting your objective a lot harder if you don't have that fort. The way that opens up the map. Oh,
Oh,
We got Bad
Benny
Benny.
actually charging in, will get pulse bombed in response. He's actually going to be A-okay as he walks right on out of there. Nick finishing off the Maya for first blood of our game just under 4 minutes in. Yasu continuing the pressure a little bit right there. I thought that things might go a little bit wrong for Oxygen when we saw that burrow charge from Bad Benny right into the thick of things, not stunning anybody, followed up by a pulse bomb. But that tracer damage, of course, very low in the early game, not quite able to finish off Bad Benny. And now Oxygen getting some time off of this objective right here, and Dino's dropping quite low.
We'll see. I think Dino might get picked. Oh,
Oh, it's actually
It was
Yasu.
Yasu. They turned it around on him.
Yasu getting dropped right there as he attempted to pressure onto Dino's Tracer, but flew a little bit too close to the sun. Banana H trying to get this interrupt as Oxygen successfully takes out objective number 1 at the cost of Lucio and Urel. Impale from Bad Benny, buying some time for Hasuabs to escape from Dino. Will Haunting Wave right on out of there, and then tap. Little bit, if you ask me, a little bit premature of a tap. Hasuabs, I think, had enough time to just go ahead and go back and then waltz back into the combat with a full mana bar, but he disagrees as we see now Dequaza pressuring out this top lane. Dino showing on map here, indicating to Oxygen that he is on the bottom side as he helps a little bit of clear. And now Oxygen starting out their push with the Sylvanas in mid lane. This is, of course, where Chili Mountain wants to apply the pressure. Don't let the Sylv get anything for free. Dino not landing the pulse bomb, but it won't be necessary to take out Hasuabs in this mid lane. Yasu's still trying to stay in here and get a bit of damage, even down level 10 at this point. Aggressively stepping forward here, and Bad Benny is on the scene.
I will say, Chili Mountain having that Tracer Rig Arterial, that's 3 heroes who can just immediately turn on someone when they least expect it and do a surprising amount of burst damage.
The mobility difference that you're always going to have in a game with these characters. You have Tracer so swift, Rhaegar himself able to mount up in combat as well as drop that Earth Grasp totem. Tracer, I already said her, Tyrael is able to speed up his allies and slow down the enemy. Just in terms of raw mobility, if you find yourself out in lane, you're going to get slowed as we see Sticky Bomb slowing Urel very significantly before the Dino body block as well. Master class in Tracer gank right there from Dino, able to land the slow onto Urel into the immediate body block. If you want to play Tracer right, if you want to gank those lanes right, take a look at what Dino did right there. Excellently done stuff from him right there. I gotta say, Dino put himself as #1 Tracer on his spreadsheet right now. I find that a little bit contentious, but I gotta give you your respect for that one. We now see both teams clearing out the mid lane. Chili Mountain getting some damage onto this null cap right here, and they have a null cap of their own here in mid lane.
I will say, the mobility on Oxygen's side also can't be discounted either, though. You do have the Lucio, and you do have the Phoenix, who oftentimes just always has 40% movement speed as long as he's auto-attacking slowed people, so they're a bit hard to catch, but not quite the blanks.
A few tower shots right here as we see Masquerade enabling the top lane push from the members of CM, but Oxygen is here, and we see the containment disc going out immediately onto Bad Benny on that Anubrak as he steps up forward, lands the burrow charge over the wall into Banana, will get the ancestral healing on himself. Oh, body block actually does get dropped by Bad Benny, but it's not necessary to finish off the kill, and Nick, not even hesitating for a moment, gets on that boss right away, but actually does hesitate and steps back off of it. Dino now getting some free chip damage onto Bad Benny with this Tracer burrow charge not landing onto Dino nor Masquerade. Dino still continuing to go in. Sticky Bomb does not land.
I wonder if Masquerade was intending to draw out those stuns there with that Q move there.
13 advantage is short-lived for Chili Mountain as Oxygen steps forward. We've got Rhaegar respawning coming out of the base. Now Hogger looking for the spin rotation. Dequaza trying to get up in here. Yasu thinning out these defensive NPCs, and now both teams taking a brief moment to say, hey, we had our fun. It was fun playing with you guys out here in the sandbox, but nope, we've got to go back and do our chores. Every 90 seconds, of course, both teams must go back and do their chores before they will go out and get to have some fun. Both teams level 13, both teams securing their camps. And I must note here that we did not see a holy ground come out from that Tyrael. That's actually law and order. Forgoing a bit of boss control, they think they have enough. Masquerade says, my team can control boss as it is. We don't need that holy ground right there. Interesting choice. Sticky Bomb onto Yasuo. Will get avoided on the slow with the high five.
Definitely the aggressive choice and the I'm gonna run out of mana choice if he uses it enough. But
Dayquaza interrupting Nick's warp with the stun, bangs him right into the loot horde and the wall. Phoenix's puddle spilling everywhere. Bad Benny is still here though, looking to see what he can do. We'll get a little bit of stall, making this take slightly longer from Chili Mountain, but without Nick, Oxygen certainly has to be careful, especially with Yrel soaking that bot side. Only 3 members of Oxygen on the scene right here, right now.
Look at this V that Hager's pulling off right here. Just silly angles. It's always the 45s and the 90s you gotta look for. But there's a lot of infinite spins that you'll see Hager's just pull out like that.
Yep, if you're not holding a protractor to your screen, you can't really call yourself a Hogger player. As we now see Bad Benny getting the capture onto Chili Mountain's prison camp. Oxygen able to successfully defend their own earlier, Banana H doing the same for his. And of course, as these teams love to do, we see a little bit of a two-sided skirmish here going across multiple areas, but now stepping forward, still 15 for both teams. Slight experience advantage for Chili Mountain, forming up though, and they look like we might want to fight soon. However, Nick is doing the siege camp. He will finish with those nulls soon. 16 advantage also around the corner for Chili Mountain. However, both teams pressuring up in mid lane now.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Well, not that surprised that Chili Mountain has the XP lead. They have been getting those gank kills, but they're a little bit behind on the structure game this far into the Alterac.
Oh, Dino, is that a bullet spray? Is that a bullet spray, Dino? What is this? As we see Masquerade capturing... What's up? What's up, Grits?
Is that a wave clear decision? I don't think he needs wave clear.
No, there's plenty of wave clear with the presence of the Hogger and with the Maiev. I'm going to flame Dino for that one later, as well as right now, as we see Chili Mountain moving forward here, and that's an over-the-wall burrow charge onto Banana H. Dayquaza responding with the shockwave. Wow, he dropped down to double-digit HP for that Rhaegar before the Ancestral Healing hits himself. Sanctification did go out, as well as Sticky Bomb onto Hasu. Dino going to finish off Hasu for the first kill of this game, of this fight. 1-for-1 at the moment. Nobody else going down just quite yet, but Ultralisk is the second for Oxygen to take out. That's a double kill now. Bad Benny's not done yet. Burrow charge able to be dodged by Dino, who still has bullet spray for some reason, and he's blinking right on out of there. Yasuo looking at Dino, but Dino will be able to recall. Pulse Bomb does not connect. Now Hans, Nick warping on out of here, trying to get away. Wallbang doesn't connect from Dayquaza, but Bad Benny here looking like Breeze coming in from the side lane with that Anubarak, taking out Dayquaza for the kill. Oxygen getting some very timely kills with those 3 right there in that team fight, setting up for a very easy base defense.
I'll say if you can lock down Hogger with stuns long enough, he will actually die. He has a second where he's not unstoppable, with all his abilities that make him unstoppable.
Yep, everybody knows if you really slow down the tape and you look for just a moment, you can find brief moments of team fights where Hogger is not invulnerable, or not unstoppable, rather, as we see now. Chili Mountain taking out this top boss. On the other side of the map, way down here, we have Oxygen taking out the other boss. Both teams almost 100% aware of what the other side is doing. This is a trade, just agreeing to go through with it. Hogger, of course, shredding through his null camp significantly faster than a Yrel can do. The slight advantages in the null camp that you can always expect a team with Hogger to have on Alterac Pass continue to materialize. One key difference right here, though, this objective from Oxygen is threatening onto a keep, whereas Chili Mountain's boss is threatening onto a fort, so not quite as dangerous or demanding as much defense for the side of Oxygen, but we now see 4 members of Oxygen here in the top lane clearing it out. Dino solo clearing boss in bot side, multiple members of Chili Mountain pushing onto mid forward.
I was gonna say that I think Chili Mountain would have gotten the better trade out of that boss, but they also went and decided to just push mid instead of clearing it, which honestly, not a bad decision. They chunked down a big they chunked down that fort's health bar quite a bit. Way more than I would have expected.
Still no forts 100% fully achieved for Chili Mountain, taken down from Oxygen. Only fort to the game is in fact Chili Mountain's bot fort being removed, only fort being destroyed so far, I should say. As Dino moves forward onto Yasu, lands the pulse bomb. Yasu simply going to respond with tapping the healing fountain. He is unbothered. Burrow charge, allowing Bad Benny to use his unstoppable to evade that Umbral Bind. Will get right on out of there. Some Dino being tossed around by Hogger. And now, yet again, we see the Overwatch trend constantly. Tracer and Lucio dueling it out. Ultralisk looking for the containment disc, does not find Yasu. And there's a cocoon onto Tracer. You see Bad Benny now stepping forward here. The jet propulsion, sorry, that's Blaze. The burrow charge not connecting onto Maiev. And a huge purification salvo from Phoenix. Nick continuing the pressure forward. Yasu booping everybody out to the side. Pulse bomb yet again will not connect. And now Hans stepping forward onto Banana. Banana's gonna be fine. But with that kill, Oxygen has secured level 20 advantage. And surely advantage onto this first objective of the game. We must point out these objectives get longer in terms of required time to capture. There is indeed time for Chili Mountain to scale up to level 20 to get this Tyrael back and potentially contest this objective as they step forward and push the members of Oxygen out of mid.
Sometimes that tickle beam from Phoenix actually does something.
It's
That's
a
why it
big
gets
combo.
picked.
And it does indeed do extra damage to heroes who have been slowed, as we see the, not quite the double kill. Indomitable resolve from Nick will save his life, instantly refilling his shield. He's going to be okay, but that is a long cooldown now popped. Maiev has, of course, a second charge of Vault of the Wardens post level 20. With Bad Benny dead, Chili Mountain look to pressure up forward. They allow Yasu to complete his hearth under the mid fort here. And are they done yet? We see Umbral Bind will get Seraphim denied by Urel. And now Chili Mountain backing off and looking to continue their control of this objective.
Yep, we're now at level 20. Urel is basically Deathwing. She will never get CC'd again.
Yep.
And you've got the Phoenix Shield, which you saw saved his life there. When he gets lowered all the way down to 0 health, he gets a big shield.
Indomitable
but it's a 2-minute
resolve.
cooldown, I believe.
Yeah, it's got a decent cooldown on it right there. As we see Masquerade taking a bit of chip damage, will use that sword to hop right on out of there. Bad Benny respawning now. Copenhagen trying to buy some time for Bad Benny to get on the scene. Will they get in there? It looks like no. They are going to cede over this objective for Chili Mountain. All members of this game alive as Yasu looking for the push onto Masquerade. Will knock him towards his team, but it's not enough to set up any kill pressure just quite yet. Bad Benny lurking in a bush nearby.
It's like we've got objective for Chili Mountain, and what they want right here is at least one of the other lanes other than mid to get pushed up to keep. They want at least 2 keeps on this map. Unless the map goes super long, then they can end, but...
Bad Benny tanking the Shade of Vengeance from Ultralisk right there. Seraphim! I believe Seraphim just denied containment disc onto the URL.
Is that a thing?
I do believe it is. You can unstoppable cocoon, for example, from a Nubarak as well. That similarly denies it. I do believe that is what occurred right there. Dino now backing off, expecting, of course, multiple members of Oxygen to show up for that clear. Will rotate towards their teammates. Seraphim is popped by Urel. Umbral Bind does connect as well as the Hogger follow stun, but Ardent Defender. Urel's not taking any damage anytime soon. Long cooldown for her, forced out from the members of Chili Mountain as Ultralisk just hitting like 5 Qs in a row on the members of Oxygen. You love to see that spread damage from the Maiev containment disc lands onto Bad Benny. Copenhagen dropping very low in the backline. Chili Mountain is looking for an extended vacation in this backline underneath Oxygen's keep. Ancestral Healing connects onto Masquerade, tanking a couple keep shots in the meantime. Ultralisk doing the same, and that is Oxygen's top keep going down.
Yep, this is exactly the position Chili Mountain wants to be in right now. They are pressuring all the keeps. They've already taken one. They have they're very close to getting a win condition. With the armor on the core on this map, usually you want at least 2 keeps, but you don't always need it if you get a good team wipe.
If you get a really good team wipe, if you have super long death timers and you're right by core, then you can end with 2 keeps dead. Or even if you're just pushing with Null's mid lane, if mid is the only lane where you have a keep down, that is of course also an opportunity to end the game. Not particularly relevant to the current specific situation, but it is of course why the mid camp is partially why it's so contested. As we see now Oxygen pressuring up onto top boss here, Chili Mountain leaving just Dino to go ahead and finish this off. Dino tanking a few shots from the boss. Nah, he's got the kiting down. He doesn't have to worry about it. That was the last hit he takes as Dino now finishes off this boss, and we see some pressure on the top side.
I will say, Dino technically didn't even have to get close enough to melee the boss.
Cocoon and Containment Disc have gone out between these two teams. Dayquaza deep in the Oxygen backline gets hit by the Wailing Arrow. Now Bad Benny finds himself in danger, will get dropped. Masquerade dropping that Sanctification, giving it vulnerable to his teammates. Dayquaza continuing the aggression forward. Dino now onto Nick, killing him through the Indomitable Resolve, but will get dropped himself in the meantime. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Chili Mountain. Yasu attempting to run away, make it a 3-for-1 as we see Sylvanas get dropped off cam by Hogger over there on the side, and leading in to this objective that is able to be taken any time, but no, it's instead going to be Chili Mountain just straight up pushing mid keep. These death timers are very long, and as soon as they get this mid keep down, this is surely going to be an end attempt from Chili Mountain. Only Urel and Lucio alive on the side of Oxygen. This is going to be a very tough defense.
Yeah, if we didn't catch it, Sylvanas was using her Banshee to try to kite her way the opposite direction of the map, and she got chased down by Hogger there.
And now Chili Mountain is making short work of this Oxygen core. Bad Benny set to respawn soon, but it doesn't look like it'll be soon enough, as now Boss has joined
Even
the action.
Boss shows up.
On top of everything, Bad
That's
Benny with the
GG.
epicenter, landing the stuns. All these minions everywhere, the boss, the everything, the pressure, proving insurmountable from the side of Chili Mountain here in game number 1 between Oxygen Esports and CM. Good stuff right there. Dino, we gotta talk about that bullet spray, but other than that, well played, well played. You love to see Tracer players winning out here. Let's take a look at that post-game scoreboard that we now have. Takes a little bit to load whenever a game is over in the custom games, and here we have it. Big Tracer damage done right there. And how can Hogger, riddle me this, FullOnGritz, riddle me this. How can a hero who is constantly clearing side lanes and doing every single camp come this close to matching a late game Tracer output? It doesn't make any sense. It's not fair. Remove the character from the game, Blizzard. Please, whoever greenlit Hogger's design, I just want to talk.
You know, you if you're team fighting a lot, like Chili Mountain was, Hogger, it doesn't matter how you build him. All his builds involve doing just an absurd amount of AoE damage. And right here, he's got bombs and trait. That's not even a build I think I've seen on Hogger. And yeah, he's just throwing bombs at people and getting cooldown reduction from his trait and doing AoE damage. So it is probably a lot of it just damage padding from those bombs being chucked out, but it is still poke damage. He can still spin at people and finish off kills. Yeah, I believe the 7 is the one where he chucks 3 dynamite out when he Qs it.
It is indeed the dense blasting powder from Dayquaza's Hogger right there. Lobby
And the
2
16 gives you
Lobby 2 not up just quite yet. We're waiting to see if the players have chosen their map, and indeed they have. Oxygen Esports going to take first pick here in game number 2, as we see Chili Mountain taking us to Infernal Shrines. I would love to see some D.Va. We were talking about it a moment ago. Cav loves his D.Va. Infernal Shrines is the best map for D.Va in certain situations. I would love to see it pop up in game number 2, but you never quite know what's going to happen. Regardless, with that Game 1 victory, Chili Mountain has secured that at minimum, even if they lose this game number 2, they will remain on top of the standings coming out of this series right here leading into their CCL matchup to come afterward.
Yeah, I find Blaze and Hogger get banned pretty regularly on this map for obvious reasons, and I honestly do think Diva's the next best hero to pick up for that objective control. When you Blaze, he's got the Incinerator Gauntlet, he's got all this zoning stuff in his kit. I've kind of grown to like him just as much as Hogger on this map. And then Hogger, obviously, you see people just do the square where they're spinning, and at 13 it's slowing people and reducing their spell power, and you just don't want to touch the objective. But Diva has a bomb. She has a nuke. She has a literal nuke. She just drops it on the objective and you get half the objective for free. So yeah, I think she's pickable.
Half might be a bit of an exaggeration, as the Infernal Shrines... The Infernal Shrines Guardians, as we all know, they take 40 Guardians to get cleared to secure an objective, and they spawn in waves of 10. So if you get the first 4 waves, then you secure the objective for yourself. Diva, if you time the bomb to coincide with these spawns, then you can zone out the enemy team right as those additional 10 Guardians spawn up, enabling your team to get a guaranteed advantage on the shrine. This is game 2. What's up?
You usually wind up getting 10, but it also zones people off the objective, so you're usually getting, in the long run, a bit more than that, but it's usually like 10 to 15 you're almost guaranteed to get if you're timing the Diva nuke correctly.
Both teams now ready in here in Game 2 of Oxygen Esports versus Chili Mountain, which you can see in the top half of that schedule right there. Three-Legged Cat versus Masters Clash Academy going to be our next matchup, but we've got our draft ready to go on Infernal Shrines. Oxygen Esports taking first pick.
We got chat saying, isn't Junkrat stronger? Junkrat should be banned on every map in every game. Junkrat isn't stronger if he's not in the game. I'm just saying.
It is indeed a crucial aspect of it. What if you pick the Junkrat up for yourself? What if you ban the Junkrat? Certainly the potential counter of a Junkrat is always going to be on the mind of a Diva player as well, dude. Some of these players just have crazy techs, man. A lot of times I'll think a matchup goes one way, and then I'll talk to Cav, coach of Oxygen Esports right here, and he'll just be like, actually, you can do this and this and this. Like, he was talking about Gul'dan being able to counter Entomb with Q build at level 1. It's crazy, okay? There's all this tech that you can do, and these players have certainly put countless hours of practice in. They've definitely thought of this kind of thing. As we see Ultralisk, I asked Cav about this actually a day or two ago. I said, Cav, do you think Ultralisk is the best melee assassin? Do you think he's just cracked at melee assassin? And he said, yes. Ultralisk just shows up. He dominates on Kerrigan. He dominates on Maiev. Everything right there. So the Maiev ban, after a strong showing in game number 1, no surprise, as well as Hogger and Falstad. Falstad not going to show up in this series at all after a ban in game 1 as well.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise with the Hogger ban. We might see a Blaze. I mean, Junkrat's still on the table. Or they might target ban something. You never know. Usually these teams love their target bans in this level of play. And there's the Lucio. Yep, that's target to Yasuo.
Yep, Yasuo known for his Lucio power. Gonna get target banned right there. And Junkrat first picked for Oxygen. We were just talking about it a moment ago. Maybe now, hey, they could pick the Diva. Cav likes his Diva. The Junkrat can't boop the bombs anywhere. You never know. It's just an idea. Junkrat taken for Oxygen here with first pick. And Dino, I want to see you run it back, and I want to see you pick the correct Tracer level 16 this time around. You have a chance to redeem yourself. Let's see what we have from Chili Mountain.
There's the Blaze. And I will say Blaze Stukov is actually a pretty gnarly combo if the Blaze has a way to land his stuns. If you have a tank with good CC and the Blaze is the off lane, a stun followed by the Blaze charge followed by the Stukov silence, that is a death sentence for pretty much any hero in the game.
No surprises there whatsoever from the side of Chili Mountain, as this is a very early Leoric pickup here. We actually saw Cav just helped us commentate the series number 1, and he said that a Leoric pick picked up this early should always get countered. He talked a bit about how you can simply park a Tychus in the off lane to match against the Leoric to bully him. You can pick Hanzo and Dragon Strike on every Entomb. There are a couple different ways to respond, but Cav is of the opinion that an early pick Leoric invites yourself open to some heavy counterplay right there. So there must be a reason behind this, as we now see the Mei banned away right there. Hammer always on the table as well, I will point out, for Oxygen Esports. But maybe not into Blaze.
I personally love Phoenix into Leoric. His tickle hand does absolutely nothing to your health bar, and you can blink out of anything he throws at you, as well as just run at, you can dodge everything he does. You're always going to outrange him, as any ranged hero should.
Leoric particularly hates to play against mobility and range. Phoenix, of course, has those advantages over him. And Phoenix hates to play against hard CC. Doesn't like getting stunned, doesn't like getting silenced or even rooted. And Leoric doesn't have any of that until buried alive at level 20. It would be interesting to see some of that play out right there. Of course, I just want to touch for a brief moment for anybody who is curious why I said Sergeant Hammer maybe not gonna be picked up into the Blaze. A big part of that is Blaze's level 7 talent, nanomachine coding, to which Hammer is particularly vulnerable. So I do not expect to see it from the members of Oxygen right here. And now Chili Mountain saving a last pick at the moment, but we see a Stitches and Sylvanas. Some strong pick pressure as well as push pressure. There's the Tychus secured by Nick.
Okay, I will say also, because of nanomachine coding, Tychus isn't the worst problem for heroes like Blaze. Blaze is going to be their engage. I mean, they're going to be looking for hooks mostly, but Blaze is basically their turnaround hero. And that nanomachine coding, I 1v1'd you in an NGS game when you were playing Tychus, now that I remember.
I'm not sure what fiction FullOnGritz has convinced himself is reality, but if it happened, I'm sure that I absolutely crushed him, as we now see Dino swapping over to the Hanzo. Was originally picked by Ultralisk, but Ultralisk going to be playing that Sylvanas here in game number 2 of Oxygen versus Chili Mountain. Speaking a bit about that Tychus, though, I don't know how relevant nanomachine coding slowing down his attack speed will be. I fully expect Tychus to just sort of be a follow-up bot for his Garrosh engages, for his Leoric engages, and then whenever we go on to these objectives, this will of course be a Commandeer Odin. We're going to see Odin used for timing up that long duration, 23 seconds on Odin, with these objectives. The Shrine Control on Oxygen's draft right here with the Junkrat, with the Tychus, immediately evident. And I want to point out here, Grits, there's a common myth about Garrosh on Infernal Shrines that causes some players to be a little skeptical of picking him. People think,
the objective around,
People think, I don't want to play Garrosh on Infernal Shrines. What if I throw the little Guardian goons and then I don't throw the target I want? Well, in fact, Garrosh's throw cannot throw monsters. You cannot throw monsters that have been created by the objective, so throwing those Guardians on the Shrine is not a concern for Garrosh right there. He will be able to throw the heroes that he chooses with, I don't want to say impunity, but he's not going to be restricted by those goons. Regardless, for the side of Oxygen Esports on our left-hand side of the screen, we have 19CM, aka Copenhagen, on Leoric. Hasu Obs playing that Junkrat. Yasu, he got his Lucio banned out this time, so he's on the Anduin. Nick, aka Hans, on the Tychus, and Bad Benny playing Garrosh. Who do we have playing for Chili Mountain, FullOnGritz?
We got Dino on Hanzo, we got Masquerade on Stitches, Banana on Stukov, Dequaza on Blaze, and that must be Ultralisk. Yep, and that is... Who is that? Is that a Sylvanas? That's a Sylvanas.
Professional caster, by the way, as we see Oxygen moving up forward here. Not afraid to get that nice and solid starter clear. Bad Benny looking for some vision. Banana H not connecting the attempted Pustule Lurking Arm combo. Both teams vying for a little bit of control over these lanes right here. And really the name of the game on Infernal Shrines, try to get a pick so you can get this neutral siege camp or even maybe an invade, as we see Dequaza actually landing the jet propulsion onto Bad Benny. Sylvanas seems to be fully the offlaner here to bully Leoric in this top lane for Ultralisk. Blaze with the 4-man.
So, with what you're saying about the Garrosh on this map, I want to posture a question to you. When you have heroes like Hanzo who have these skill shots, is Garrosh actually a better hero on this map because the objective will eat those skill shots instead of hitting Garrosh?
Well, we have a fight right here, break it out, and then we will get to that in a moment as we see the throw onto Masquerade from Garrosh. Bad Benny trying to give his team first blood, but Masquerade able to waddle on out of there with his abomination self. Ultralisk now in danger, and that's a friendly into the fray from Bad Benny securing the kill, but Copenhagen going down as well. Yasu, Dequaza's there with the jet propulsion, setting up the kill onto Yasu. 2 kills for Chili Mountain to 1 for Oxygen. Make it 3. Banana H with a well-placed lurking arm. Hans responds with the counter kill, but Hans himself will get counter killed with the stitches, landing the hook. 6 deaths in the first 2 minutes, all of them coming right then and there. What a bloody fight for that situation.
That invasion looked so good for Oxygen until they all died.
Yeah. I genuinely think that the difference is getting that kill onto Masquerade. I fully expect that to be a play that they review over in film. Surely a little bit of DPS could have been squeezed out right there. Masquerade dipping, I believe, to roughly 80 HP, give or take, in that situation. And if they get that kill, that means no counter kill on the Tychus. That means that whole fight goes differently. And now we see Chili Mountain delaying their capture of this Bruiser camp a little bit. Oxygen taking theirs slightly early, and when you have this advantage where you actually take the Bruiser camp later, this means that you get your towers helping you out with the clear. These Bruisers going to get cleared out. Now both teams vying for control of this bottom first objective.
Yeah, those little macro things I always enjoy seeing. I mean, obviously you see it a lot in teams like this. Oh, we got a throw on Dequaza again, and he dies immediately this time.
So throwing people into your friendly Junkrat's traps is just part of playing the game as Garrosh. Dino actually will also go down in the mid lane as well. Sylvanas now staying still in this top lane. Nick is here. He notes that Ultralisk has used the Haunting Wave, so he doesn't have any escape mobility. Nick now waiting for Ultralisk to step up. We do have Leoric also nearby. Ultralisk starting to run. Actually goes in on Nick and will get the kill. Copenhagen, he's here though to clean it all up. He's gonna kill off Ultralisk. But hey, Ultralisk making a great result of a situation of getting ganked right there, turning that into a kill. Now no Tychus here to pressure the map or push with this first objective for Oxygen Esports. Copenhagen coming over to soak out the mid as we see our first objective pushing onto bottom.
As someone who plays on a team with 4 Sylvanas players, like, there's a reason why. she's quite good at trading and just macro anything, and that's what you saw there.
Sylvanas able to really just do a lot. You know, we talk about it all the time on my stream. She can be retooled into whatever your team needs right here. Oxygen recovering very, very well from that first failed attempt onto the enemy siege camp, and now Garrosh using that Indomitable. Bad Betty unfortunately chucking a minion rather than the intended kill target, will not connect it. Ultralisk now has arrived. Ooh, concussion mine booping Masquerade into the thick of it.
There's an argument. Ooh. Got Nick almost getting caught there by the Stukov sounds, but gets pulled by the Anduin. It looks like they will disengage safely. There's an argument to be made that Garrosh is very good into stitches, because as soon as you walk at stitches, he can't really do much to you. I'm not sure how that will play out at this level, but I am happy to study this to see how that works here.
Certainly a learning experience always to be had whenever we watch these games. Bad Benny actually securing flank position onto mid, but Leoric just melting in the meantime. Copenhagen getting absolutely dropped as Bad Benny looked for that flanked. Dino was thrown in, but able to use that natural agility to hop the nearby wall and just get on out of there. And now a very deep flank from Dayquaza sets up the Dragon Arrow from Dino onto Junkrat. Dino playing it perfectly off of the follow-up for Dayquaza with the vision to look for that rotational interference. Rotation interference, of course, one of the hallmarks of high-level HOTS play. Entomb onto Blaze. He will bunker right on out of that Entomb. Slightly longer cooldown for Blaze compared to Copenhagen's Entomb. Actually using the bunker to tank some shots, and that's going to be a dead Garrosh in bot lane.
I'm assuming he got hooked and then silenced again, with no Anduin in sight this time.
And now some pressure from Nick onto Dino as we see Sylvanas, Ultralisk setting up Chili Mountain's push pressure onto this bottom fort here. If they can get any little siege damage, then that is fantastic. Garrosh now respawning, Bad Benny heading back in. Masquerade attempting the blind hook, does not connect onto any members of Oxygen Esports. And Oxygen, bit of a rough start, and then they looked good, and now things are looking a little bit rough again. But hey, no massive advantages have been gained or garnered for either team thus far. Both teams still have all of their healing fountains, especially those leading into this first objective. And that's an Entomb onto Dayquaza, who doesn't have bunker, but does get the timely Dragon Arrow from Dino on the response.
These last two Dragon Arrows have been such heads-up ults from Dino. Like, completely swaying how a kill would have gone one way or the other.
Ooh, Bad Benny looking to catch Ultralisk on the rotation. Ultralisk, very shrewd recognition of the danger, chooses to take a long rotation path to prevent this from being a possibility. Bad Benny now lurking, decides that he has not caught Ultralisk. Now stepping forward right into the jaws of Chili Mountain, will be able to sidestep the hook, however. Slight clear advantage in favor of Chili Mountain, thanks to Dayquaza's efforts on the Blaze. Oh, it's a huge combo onto Stitches, though, as we see the throw. Light Bomb connects as well. Everything hitting onto Masquerade's Stitches, thanks to a timely combo from Bad Benny. Ultralisk and Dino, the double Ultra Archer combo from Sylvanas Hanzo. Pressuring forward, Entomb setting up the kill onto Ultralisk. It's a double kill in favor of Oxygen, who have yet to lose a member in this team fight. Massive shove gonna take Leoric out of the action. But with no Sylvanas and no Stitches, Chili Mountain recognizing that this objective is a lost cause, they're going to go ahead, back out of here, look to take, maybe Bruiser thought about it for a moment to protect against this objective, but nah, they're going to go down to this bottom half of the map and start affecting the macro side of things.
I was going to say, with the way Ultralisk was rotating earlier, that is always not because they know where the enemy is, it's because they don't know where the enemy is.
I saw it on the minimap. Masquerade. Oh, the B step. He hooks.
Is he gonna get out with the bomb though? No.
He hooks Hasu. Hasu trying to use his concussion mine to escape to safety. Masquerade. He's inside his belly and he's just B-stepping. I think Masquerade accidentally helping handed his own Ultralisk right there. I'm not really sure what that was about, but Chili Mountain not afraid of this Junkratless Oxygen team. These members of Oxygen simply back off, and what a response, that hook timing. This is why you can never really count a Stitches team out in almost any scenario, because they can just get hooks. They can just get back into the game whenever they want it.
Yeah, and he's definitely like a gimmick hero, but when you play around his gimmick, he's very powerful. You know, you get the Stukov silence off of the hook.
Oh, there's another throw combo onto Masquerade. The Dragon Arrow response is instantaneous. Gets maximum stun duration onto 3 members of Oxygen Esports, trying to buy Masca time to get out of here. Yasu hitting that desperate prayer. Will get punished with the Storm Bolt from Dino. So much damage getting traded back and forth here. And I gotta say, even, Ultralisk securing top fort for Chili Mountain. Even when Bad Benny hits these big combos, the range, the response from Sylvanas and Hanzo offering so much disruption. Yeah, you can pick somebody off and get them in the middle of you, but what if you're all stunned? What if you're all silenced? And what if that person, after you've all been CC'd, can simply retreat to a bunker? Chili Mountain doing a very good job of protecting their own through the kill threats and keeping their teammates alive.
Yeah, I will say the Entomb is not that big of a threat for Chili Mountain. They have so many ways to deal with it. with the Stukov Silence, the Dragon Arrow, and the Bunker.
Let's look at this Oxygen flank right here. I just want to point out that this is not visible to the members of Chili Mountain. They do not know that Garrosh is in that bush for a fact. Sylvanas now scouting it out with the Haunting Wave, forcing Bad Benny to take a step back right here. Level 16 advantage is what Chili Mountain has their eye on, as they have a half-level lead over Oxygen.
I think a Ricochet might have ended up in that bush. I think that's how they figured it out there. I'm not entirely sure, but it looked like they were pinging up there and they threw the hook.
Ricochet? I don't see a Tracer player anywhere. And even if I did see a Tracer player, they wouldn't even pick Ricochet, as we now see Copenhagen running away from Chili Mountain with the rotation toward him. 16 advantage for Chili Mountain. They're going to use it to take this Bruiser camp. Oxygen 100% aware of what's going on. Copenhagen able to scout this out on the left side right there as Leoric, but Oxygen, with their proximity, or rather lack of it, to this camp, as well as lacking 16 advantage, opt to fully give away the camp and simply wait for level 16. Now
So
Chili
right
Mountain.
now,
What's up?
right now, Oxygen is kind of, well, they're even talent tiers now, so they want to win a fight, but they're kind of in. We need to take back control of the map. They're getting pushed in everywhere. They don't have a single fort yet. I wouldn't be surprised if even if they get a kill here, they just try to push something.
There's certainly always options on the table right here. Some strong push potential from Oxygen. If they can secure an objective, this Riptire wandering around trying to find a home will pick up a couple Guardians. Masquerade. Oh, there's the taunt and Indomitable, followed up by Leap of Faith. Actually going to make sure that Garrosh is not eaten by the Stitches, who did have Gorge available. Massive shove, knocking away somebody else as well. So much damage getting traded back and forth here all the time. Leoric will go down. Chili Mountain now with the advantage, the 5v4. Nick finally getting into that. Odin, there is a Bruiser camp pushing top keep on the side of Oxygen as well. That's something they got to be thinking about here as they go in, and they're just contesting this objective 4v5.
Oh, big hook, a big Gorge on the Tychus. He's still an Odin. He will have armor, but
Oh, Bad Benny coming in to get Nick out of the dangerous situation, as well as Hasuops providing some peel with the assistance of the Concussion Mine. Bad Benny, though, in the attempts to escape from the situation, will get hooked right back into it. You know, Bad Benny, he's the guy in the action movie that says, I thought I retired from this. And then you got Masquerade. He's his FBI handler on the other hand, saying, I gotta pull you back in for one last mission. Taking him out in the middle of things right then and there. Chili Mountain with the rotation onto top fort at the moment, and with the usage of Sylvanas' Black Arrows, going to be able to take out this top keep. Masquerade fishing for hooks. The follow-up lurking arm from Banana was instant, as you have to do it regardless of whether the Stitches hook lands or not. You simply need to have that trust. Another Riptire now chasing down the members of Chili Mountain. Bunker from Blaze will be secured. Oh, hold on a second. Daquaza dropping very low. He's not going to die. It's actually going to be Yasu, finished off by the efforts of Hanzo, also getting that target practice done at the same time, taking out Yasu, and the picks are just non-stop filtering in for Chili Mountain as they now pressure onto mid-keep after making short work of top keep.
Oxygen still has to deal with this Punisher. Just shoving its way down mid. It's definitely a team fight objective, but God, that Odin.
Odin, always a premier Tychus talent on this particular map. Nick in danger, will be forced to step back a bit, trying to hide from Masquerade, fishing for the hook onto 19cm. Does not connect it. Oxygen trying to get a fight if they can before the members of Chili Mountain have achieved their Storm talent tier, almost level 20. They'd like to avoid this fight if they can. Garrosh using the Indomitable to go in, and Bad Benny taking so much damage in response. Leap of Faith not even enough to save him from dropping down. Oxygen now on the retreat, but the offense, the Dragon Arrow max range lands onto Nick, and that's gonna set up a Gorge from Masquerade. Nick is right up in there. Yasu looking for the aggressive Leap of Faith, anything to try and save him, but at this point Yasu's just joining him in death and that is 3 members of Oxygen going down. 15 kills in 15 minutes for Chili Mountain. The friendly hook from Masquerade onto Dayquaza, and at this point, CM just simply needs to walk up and hit this core.
Dino's got a scope on that bow. I don't think a single one of those arrows has not been impactful this game. And he's been sending them too.
You know, I think what it was is Dino, while he was in the lobby right there, I think he slipped a couple magnets into the pockets of the Oxygen players right there, attracting these arrows right onto them. As we see core of Oxygen now dipping below the 60% threshold. Bad Benny gonna take a bunch of damage in the meantime, and with a fresh wave of minions and catapults, this is surely the end for Oxygen. CM Esports looking to finish off, get a couple more kills. In the meantime, they're trying to defend, and everybody's gonna go down. Will Tychus die? He's in the gorge. Yeah, there he goes. And now the arrow going off into nowhere. CM taking the series with a strong 2-0.
Some would argue that last arrow was the most important one.
Yes, the BM is crucial to any match of Heroes of the Storm. We talk about it often. You know, you got to think about your end core meta, you know, because when you've ended and everyone can see you on the screen, that's a photo opportunity, if anything, right? So you got to jump over the core, you got to hit that taunt, you got to chuck arrows into the oblivion. There's certainly lots of options. Let's take a look at that post-game screen right here after CM takes the series 2-0 versus Oxygen Esports.
We've got equal soak about on Sylvanas and Blaze. Double offlaning, basically. A lot of split push from Ultralisk that game.
And part of that is exactly what we were talking about in the previous series with Cavalier Guest, swapping a ranged offlaner to match up, or a ranged assassin to match up against Leoric to function as an early game offlaner, bringing that offlaner into the 4-man. We saw Dayquaza with that Blaze playing with their teammates right there, and Leoric, there's only so much you can do when you've got a Sylv in your lane, and that's why we see those high soak numbers for Sylvanas.
Yeah, we did see the nano machine coding on Blaze. It's always a question of, do you want to reduce their attack speed or reduce their spell power? The spell power can be useful to reduce healing, too. That's one thing people don't think about.
Well, there is actually a bug with Blaze's level 7 Suppressive Fire. Suppressive Fire actually only reduces spell damage, despite promising to reduce spell power. It is bugged, it does not reduce healing. So nano machine coding tends to be the default. It is very wacky.
I'll have to keep that in mind, because I just assumed since it reduced spell power.
Yeah, you know, I mean, of course, you know, you read a tooltip and you expect it to be correct, but it's Heroes of the Storm, so you're really rolling the dice on that one.
Yeah.
And as we see our post-game screen, let's take a look at the standings. The standings have indeed been updated. Chili Mountain taking a strong lead over their competitors. So chat, let me paint a picture for you, okay? Let me paint a picture for you. Masters Clash, each team plays 2 matches per weekend, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. These 2 matches, if you take them 2-0, you gain 3 points. If you take them 1-1, you tie with your opponent, each team takes 1 point. And of course, if they 2-0 you, they get 3 points, similar deal. What Chili Mountain has done right here in securing this big lead in the standings, now with 21 points, their closest competitor, the recently beat Oxygen Esports at 16. The only conceivable way that Oxygen Esports can take back that number 1 spot within 1 more weekend is if Oxygen Esports 2-0s both of their opponents and Chili Mountain simultaneously gets 2-0'd by both of their opponents. It would certainly take a miracle for the standings to flip in a hurry. Chili Mountain almost 100% locking down that number 1 spot for a little while longer.